This is TWiT.
This is from Bloomberg. Everybody knows that cable TV's dying, right? YouTube is what everybody under 30 watches. And now, according to Bloomberg, YouTube's coming for the sitcom. Creators are making longer shows to meet viewers where they are, increasingly in front of their TVs. Doc, do you have any sense of how much of your audience watches in the living room on a TV as opposed to on a phone or on a computer?
Yes, I do. Considering, so my audience is specifically Gen X creators, but I do get some people like just above 30, right? I go down to like 32. Ain't nobody talking to you, girl.
Was that Siri just wanted to say hi?
Nobody asked her anything. She just decided to butt in.
She likes attention.
Listen, lady.
Yeah.
Listen. Okay, so here's the thing that's really cool. I specifically target this audience. And even when I say that in most of my videos, I definitely get younger people watching because they're like, well, I can get a head start if I can know what the OGs know at this point. And, you know, last year, the CEO came out and said that they serve over 1 billion hours of podcast on television.
Yeah.
And that's
this worries me a little bit that people are saying the future of podcasting is YouTube.
Well, here's why, and I know it's going to be hard for us OGs because we've been around since you had to hand code your stuff. But if you ask
that's literally true, by the way. The first RSS feeds we did for
I'm
TWiT,
right behind you.
I did it by hand in a text.
So
editor.
Nowadays, people don't really know what an RSS feed is per se, right? And a lot of my people are afraid of because they need these numbers because they use these numbers for ads and things like that. But in the same token, you have an opportunity to get more numbers. I mean, last week, YouTube reported that they're dropping over 70 billion shorts a day. It was 700 billion. Anyway, the number was dumb. That's the answer. The number was insane.
It's probably 700 actually.
And the amount of shorts tells you that's a good lead in to people to see the long content. So when you're chopping this stuff up and people are watching on TV, we consume on TV and always hear the stat that you just stated that people under 30 are only watching on TV. Yo, the mother-in-law, she's 78. You know what she watches all day, every day?
Not YouTube. Not TikTok, YouTube.
Just YouTube. Because YouTube is on the TV, right?
Wait a minute.
Sorry.
What was that?
Where did that come in? Somebody saying hi.
Your studio is alive.
Listen, live streamers out here. So, and what happened was maybe like right when the pandemic happened, you know, she was having some problem with the cable box. And I said, well, Mom, you have a YouTube button on your TV. Just press that. And then she goes, well, I don't know what to watch. And so I put in a couple things for her to watch, which were just like Okinawan TV shows. And then she could listen to Okinawan music because as my father-in-law was getting dementia, that's the one thing that would calm him down.
Is that a Japanese music style?
Oh, listen, this is a tough one, Leo, and the whole country gets it wrong. Okinawa is to Japan like Puerto Rico would be to Spain.
Okay.
Speak the same language, but we ain't the same.
It's a colony. Is it a colony?
Because Japan stole it. Let's just put it that way. Okinawa has the Hawaii treatment.
All we Americans know about Okinawa is World War II.
A base.
And there's a massive base there. Yeah.
Karate Kid 2, by the way. Also, Karate Kid 2.
Karate Kid 2.
Yeah, and Karate Kid 2. Okay. Exactly.
Thank you, Benito, for that.
She would start to watch, once I showed her this, and then she found like, you know, recipes and like shows that she could watch. Like she never really watches regular TV anymore. And she tells me the other day, oh, I just found these old school, Okinawan movies that are on YouTube. And so she just had her knee surgery and she's at home all day now.
She's got exactly the content she wants when she wants it.
When she wants. Exactly.
So you were right. It's 70 billion a day.
That's the answer I was looking for.
60% of YouTube video is shorts, only 5% stories. You can say goodbye to that soon. We're being watched right now in a live stream. That's only 10%.
But live streaming is growing.
Is growing? Good.
Yes.
Because standard video is only 25% of YouTube's watching. One quarter
but that 25% is a massive number. So
I know it's big, but
the stat is correct, but the number is psycho. So the last one that also got from our buddy Renee, because this is his job, and I just saw him like a couple weeks ago. If you add up all the other streaming providers, that means ABC, Disney, Hulu, Netflix, all of these cats, they don't even hold a candle to YouTube combined. not individually, combined. YouTube is smoking fools.
Does that work with TikTok as well? Because, you know, I don't know, some of the stats there seem either wildly inflated or really quite remarkable.
The thing about TikTok, and yes, TikTok has massive viewership. Let's not get it twisted. They don't have TikTok on the TV yet, even with some of the boxes.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's massive.
And so if you look at your TV, every TV in the world over the last 10 years has a YouTube button on it.
Yeah.
Right? And many people just started using that when, you know, the writer's strike went on. YouTube took a massive boost, and like people are just like, I can watch everything. Like, it's kind of incredible. Yeah. They have a new movie service, which is like $3 or $4 a month to let you see all the old movies. And so I was watching Kill Bill 1 and 2 because my marketing director, Katie, she has a podcast where she talks about 80s and 90s movies, and we wanted to do Kill Bill. And I was like, this service is only $3 and there's a bunch of cool stuff. So I'll watch it all and then get rid of it. But, you know,
there is a perception that the stuff on YouTube is not as polished as the stuff you'd see on streaming or network TV.
I don't know. I've seen some really good stuff. I mean,
well, that's the problem. There's everything.
Yeah.
Including polished and unpolished. Old movies and some guy in his basement with making cardboard light fixtures.
I probably can't name the name, but there's a YouTube channel I've become addicted to over the last couple of years about an Alaskan who goes out hiking, often with his family. And it's just like, this is where YouTube's strength really comes in, because with a very small production crew, you can do really, really engaging content. And, you know, I haven't seen that on many other platforms.
There's also the issue, and I guess, you know, ultimately YouTube's got to make money, so advertising is going to be important. But there's the issue of what kind of content is on YouTube. Right. And I think many advertisers are concerned. They don't want their ads next to a Logan Paul or maybe even next to a Mr. Beast. The ad algorithms are so good that they could absolutely exclude things. They don't have to worry about that.
They don't have to worry about that. Okay, so let me break down the ad business on YouTube, because this is where I live. One thing very good that a lot of people don't understand. The old school methodology of putting on your blog, you know, so you got your little site up, and then your site would get a lot of traffic because when someone go to search for something that you talk about, right? Say you're the guy who is an expert in spectrum analyzing clocks that you can put in your studio. When I go to look for that, you know, it would go to leolaporte.com. Well, when I click on that link, I just remove myself from Google's mall. Their mall sells ads. So now, because of GEO, Generative Engine Optimization, I do speak English.
That's opposed to SEO.
Because SEO is over because everybody kept cheating. And so Google's like, you know what? I'm done with you. We're going to do GEO. So if I can ask that same question and there's a video of you talking about it on your YouTube channel, if I send you there, you're still in my mall where I can serve another ad.
Google likes that.
Correct. Right? If I give you things that are on sort of GEO thing that opens up the new AI shopping thing, you're still in the Googleverse, but I could buy the clock directly from you from this site that's tied into your Shopify store or Fourth Wall, and you still never left the Google Mall. I can still show you more ads. So now the way they're setting it up, if you're creating content that both lives on YouTube and on a site somewhere where Google ads are, and on some other place like Shopify where Google's tied into, you are being a good citizen of the Google algorithm because you're still allowing that shopper to look at Google ads and they reward you. So this is why everybody and their mama should be making YouTube content, and this is why I'm a YouTube coach right now.
Yeah. Hold on a second. So let me see if I understand something. They're pushing, obviously, I see the financial appeal of going towards longer content. Obviously, advertisers love it, so they're going to start promoting and asking creators to do it, and they'll probably give them more of a chunk of change to do it. But the data is showing that most of their attention spans of their viewerships is short. So I guess the question to me is this going to succeed for push people in that direction? Because people's attention.
Yes, because they have ads and shorts as well. But what shorts, this is a really weird thing to say. Please don't trademark me. Shorts are your discovery channel. If I am watching like how to do Python and Excel and there's short videos of you just giving me the Costco sample. Now I need to see the whole thing. So I can directly connect your sample video of how I might create a pivot table using AI, Python, Excel. I want to go watch the whole thing. That's a combination of like Copilot plus Excel plus Python. I could do some really cool stuff, right? But I can't see that in 30 seconds.
Just
All I'm doing is taking the tease, right?
Yeah.
And then jumping over. So shorts work so well because it does play automatically and you can kind of thumb really quickly, but a lot of shorts convert into real long tail content because it works for me.
So for a long time, network television had the luxury of thinking of its audience as basically passive cows, consumers of whatever crap they put out, and they were captive.
You will take what we give you.
And they're dying now because the audience isn't captive anymore. It isn't. I mean, the thing I worry about is that eventually YouTube will become as enshittified as network television did.
Yeah,
it's already well on the way. I mean, if you look at, if you look at the amount of ads they're spamming out at the moment, in the last 18 months, this has really kicked in a big way.
But as long as you can get YouTube Premium, you can avoid that.
Well, yeah, but at the same time,
and that's cheaper than a cable subscription. I mean, you have to add the internet, whatever that costs.
Yeah, sure, but honestly, I'm not quite sure YouTube's content. I mean, a lot of it is secondhand and a lot of it is badly produced.
Okay. So this is, hold that thought, because this is exactly what I was going to ask. Is don't people see YouTube content as a little bit down market? And is that a misapprehension? Is that maybe old fashioned? Is that maybe you and I are a little bit too old to appreciate YouTube?
Thank you.
I would say yes. And I'll tell you why. Okay. So in the last year, a bunch of big names have come to YouTube as their forefront content, right? Conan, after the writer's strike, tired of the networks, Conan has 3 brand new shows on YouTube. He owns the studio. Oatmeal Winfrey, she owns the studio. She got like 6 brand new shows on YouTube. Sky Sports with Gary Neville and Roy Keane. Sorry, these are my footy guys, right?
I'm with you.
Okay, and the other Ian Wright, he's not as cool as you because he was Arsenal turd. Anyway,
I think he's slightly cooler, in fact, but yeah.
So those guys started a brand new thing called Stick to Football. They just signed a contract for 3 more new seasons. They just signed a massive contract. I don't remember what the poundage is, but Mr. T can look it up real fast. So these are happening. Jon Stewart, he left Apple, went to YouTube, started another show. So the guys that were on TV that were sort of being pawned around, the only person who hasn't really made the jump is Colbert because he's paid handsomely. But even CBS is under a bunch of noise right now.
That won't happen. That won't stay that way forever, though, right?
No, exactly. I think Stevie's out, right? So a lot of the OGs are coming over and building their own brand new networks on YouTube where they basically own the entire pie. That's one side of it. The other side of it is just like on television. Remember that song, 57 channels in and nothing on? Well, I feel like we're up to 1,000.
1,000? A billion. There is effectively an infinite number of channels on YouTube, right?
No, I mean TV. TV has so many channels.
TV's dead, but I mean that's it, right? This is it. It's over,
YouTube,
isn't it, for TV?
The thing that's cool about YouTube is if there is a content gap, this is what the terminology that I use as I'm speaking around the country. If there's a content gap that you see for somebody who's doing a whole foods, plant-based, no oil, vegan, and you can't find that on Food Network, you can make that and you can serve an entire community. And what happens is you end up inspiring other people to make similar content and they build whole entire networks. So just like Ian was talking about this guy in Alaska who does these hiking, I watch like 6-7 different channels of people who hike through Japan. My knees do not work. I can't hike through Japan no more, but I watch the heck out of those things. And what's really cool is there's a new form of content on YouTube. Well, it's about 3 to 4 years old, and it's called listenable content. That is what inspired when they set up.
That's the podcast, right? Like shows like this, you can listen to this, right?
When they started the listenable hashtag about 3 years ago,
you can show that, Benito. This is Sunny and Gizmo.
They saw how much people are watching listenable content. That's when they decided to start the podcast division, and Kai came in and just blew it up. And this guy right now that you're looking at with Sunny and Gizmo, I want you to go look at the channel real quick and look at the number of people that are currently watching. Never mind the people that already watched it. Look at the number of people currently watching, and your head will spin.
This is a bald eagle nest in California's Big Bear Valley, perched 145 feet above the lake. And people are watching it. Well, how do I get to the?
You gotta scroll over the
put
video.
that camera in,
Scroll over
it's
the
gotta
video.
have-
Yeah, watch on YouTube on the bottom left. Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah.
I don't know how to use. What is this? YouTube. 40,000 more people. 100 times more people are watching this bird sit there than are watching this show right now. 40,000.
40 to 60,000 every time I pop on.
And all
since
these.
the
I don't know if
birds
that's
came out.
Sunny or Giz, but she's just sitting there right now.
But at the same time, this is kind of.
Oh wait a minute! Is that one up here? Is that a bird? What is that?
Yeah, that's the sister. So the brother and sister, the mom comes by and feeds them every once in a while. You can use the scrubber to see if you can see the mom pop in. There's these channels by Big Bear where the birds. I mean, sorry, not the birds.
I feel like people just leave this on their TV.
Oh, 100%.
And just let it go. There we go. There's Mama feeding them.
Mama's back. Yeah, so she'll feed them. There's ones where the bears are spawning and they're catching salmon, and you see the cub fall down the fall because he didn't have his footing right, and the mom just leaves him there to suffer. but people like legit watch this because it's calming, right?
You could leave that on your TV instead of anything. And just you'd have a view to Big Bear Valley and eagles sitting there.
As far as I'm aware, the first webcam view like that was of a coffee pot at MIT.
I remember that.
Serves me right.
Cambridge. No, it's Cambridge. The Cambridge coffee pot.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, people are mesmerized by this stuff, and fair play to them.
I mean, going towards Doc's point, it's like YouTube is different for everybody. Like YouTube isn't the same for everybody.
That's a good point.
That's really the thing. Like, everybody has their own channels.
It's
that
custom.
they watch. Yeah, exactly. And that's what makes YouTube special.
And at this point, as much as ad support is moving there and so forth, if you pay for YouTube Premium, what is YouTube Premium? I forget. 14 bucks a month.
I forget. I think it went
You
up,
could pay
but
for that.
still
You have
cheap.
maybe a $40 or $60, whatever your broadband bill is, and you're using it for other things too. And that's it. You don't need anything else, right?
Yep. Where you live, there's somebody doing flight path takeoff and landing. And there's one here at H&L. I'm pretty sure there's one at SFO or MCO or wherever airport
You
guys
just
are
watch
by.
planes take off. Yeah.
And on average, bro, there's 100,000 people watching planes take off and land any given day. I know because I watched the Honolulu ones when the 35s are going to take off because it's just a beautiful sight. You see the Afterburner.
So I pay for YouTube TV because I'm an old man and I want my cable television. But if you take YouTube TV out of the equation, 12% of TV viewing last month was YouTube, more than all of Walt Disney's TV networks combined and streaming
content,
services
understandable,
combined. 40% of viewers are 18 to 49, which is a very, very desirable advertising demographic, right? In fact, what advertisers are really thinking is this is the only way to reach people in maybe that 18 to 30 demographic.
I've got to say, I love the subscription function on YouTube because it's kind of like cable as it should be. You know, it's like you find people you like, you follow them, you see when their new stuff comes in, and you cull them out if they produce not so much good stuff. But you know, it seems to be the way the industry's going, and not just on YouTube. I mean, and also a shout out to the Internet Archive, which has an awful lot of good stuff on there.
Yeah, it does actually. I think you have to be a little more sophisticated. You have to have a browser. When there is someday an Internet Archive channel, that might be, do very well. But for right now, it's
what's bomb during Christmas is Nick Offerman sits down with a single malt,
the Yule log,
sweater, a fireplace, and he just sits there and reads a book. He don't even say anything. He just reads the book. And
you can hear the fire cry. It's the best Yule log. So here from Nielsen is a graph of viewership since July of 2022. The black one is YouTube. Look at straight up. The pink one is Netflix, basically flat. Disney streaming flat. Prime Video flat. YouTube is just dominant.
Well, I mean, I think Disney's discovering that basically pumping out endlessly market research content with no real soul is not working for them. And YouTube is a haven of originality, to my mind.
I'm not thrilled about it becoming the dominant podcast platform, however, because I like RSS. I like it for us that you can watch us anywhere, including YouTube, by the way. Yep. I mean, we're on YouTube. We do YouTube shorts. We do full-length YouTube videos for every show. We're even streaming live right now on YouTube. But that's not the only way we distribute.
One thing that the YouTube player has that none of the other players have seen them pull off, and I've tried them all from Overcast to Podler, like whatever. I've tried all of them. When you're watching MacBreak Weekly, right? Because I'm there, and then I go to my car, it's always off. I have to go and scrub it to the right spot. The syncing just does not work.
Right.
When I come back in the house and I try to go back to the video version, it's always off. The syncing does not work. In the YouTube player, when you use YouTube Music to watch, I can see the video. It's where it is. When I come back, Andy is still in his same funny joke. I hit the button, never lose a beat. It doesn't back up. It's in the exact right spot.
Okay.
So that player has outmatured all the players made by nerds who should know better. Because
this is what's happening. This is
terrible.
This is the world is changing, obviously, right? And the way we consume content is changing. It's people my age. I remember when I was growing up, why would anybody watch Lawrence Welk? My grandparents watched it, right? But as soon as they died out, Lawrence Welk was over. I think that's where we stand right now with television.
Oh, come on. I mean, you're American, for goodness sake. You had more channels than any of us did. I mean,
and what did it serve? Nothing.
Well, I mean, we had a school holiday on the day the fourth national TV channel actually launched, Channel 4. And they actually gave us the afternoon off so we could watch the first episode from this fourth channel.
Wow.
You come over to America and you've got hundreds of the damn things and they're all showing rubbish. What I like about YouTube is that you can focus in on what you like.
Right.
Bro, you said something really good right there. You know what I discovered maybe like 4 years ago, and I have watched every single episode? Philomena Crunk.
Oh, she's hysterical.
Yes.
Diane,
She's
what the heck is
funny.
Diane's last name? Anyway, dude, once I discovered that on YouTube, and I went down a rabbit hole, and then I fired up.
But that's what you could do with YouTube. But that's also the
like
disadvantage. I mean, at least somebody, maybe, again, I shouldn't use myself as an example because I'm obviously of a different generation, but it's overwhelming. The amount of stuff on YouTube is part of the problem, too. It's not only an asset, it makes it like, wow, what do I watch?
It's the same as a bookstore or a library.
I don't know.
You find what you want.
I mean, YouTube
the grocery
seems to
store is
be
overwhelming.
I mean, YouTube seems to be getting spammed out with an awful lot of AI content at the moment.
Well, that's going to be
worrying.
Kids
working on that.
Kids watch that crap too. All the
Absolutely.
they love watching the AI.
How do you keep your kids from? I mean, I'm sure, Lou, you're not the kind of parent that just gives them an iPad and says, "Watch whatever you want."
No,
that's. I see that. We were at a nice restaurant yesterday. The adults are talking and the kids are just staring at the screen. I feel like those poor kids are not getting what an adult conversation. There's nothing to learn from that. But how do you handle this with your kids? Because you have pretty young kids.
Yeah, I control at the network layer, so I block YouTube at certain parts of the day, like dinner time. YouTube's blocked.
This is why you don't want a network engineer, Daddy.
Yeah, exactly. But I block specific things too.
I
so
control
like
at the network level, my friends.
That's right. So certain shows are blocked. Like there's things that are blocked. But I would say
those kids are going to grow up and say, "Yeah, YouTube was never on at dinner time. I don't understand why.
Nothing's on at dinner time.
Nothing's on at dinner time."
Yeah.
Was that the same for you in your house?
Yeah, but I would say that the biggest thing is just obviously oversight. Is just making sure that I watch what they watch, or I'm interested in what they're interested, and I promote other avenues. Like Doc just said, hey, go. What a bookstore is the same. Well, yeah, I'd rather promote than let's go read some books and stuff if we've got the same subjects. So I think it's hard though. 5 kids is hard to watch.
Yeah, and I'm no judgment on parents who do that because it's hard to be a parent and. If you're going crazy and the only way you can get a moment to yourself is to say, here, kid, watch this.
Yeah.
At least pick Blue's Clues or something. Pick something good. Don't make them watch Baby Shark over and over and over again.
I mean, in the old days, it used to be that you had the family computer and you put it in the in the dining room or the lounge, so that everyone could see what you were doing on there, and that was a good way to keep people honest. But I mean, all respect, Lou. I mean, it's a really tough job.
It is,
because it's.
But that's actually what I do, Ian. Like, in fact, all the computers are literally within line of sight of where
your kids aren't old enough to have cell phones yet.
They all. My son's 15, so he has a cell phone.
Okay.
So
there's nothing you can do about him.
Right.
I mean, did you go for a smartphone or a dumb phone? Because there was a really interesting.
Most of my kids have watches, so they that's how I get a hold of them. But that's where I started them, and then the phones are kind of a newer thing. But yeah, that's a smartphone. But
I mean, there was a really interesting study that was I think it was NPR put it out this week, where there's a school where they've basically limited everyone to dumb phones. And the students hate it, but the teachers and the administrators love it because, the kids are actually getting engaged rather than sitting there looking at a screen.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. Then the dystopia. Actually, we were verging into dystopia. We're slowly sliding into dystopia. This is This Week in Tech, where we talk about the week's tech news and the week's tech trends. And this is a huge trend, and I'm glad Doc Rock is here. He is a YouTube expert. Good to have you. YouTube.com/DocRock. Lou Maresca, a parenting expert. Also, if you want to put some Python in your spreadsheets, you might be a good guy for that too. It's good to have you, Lou. And thanks. Iain Thomson, who's an expert in British slang. Hey, thank you for watching this little snippet from our big show, the News Roundtable, This Week in Tech. I'm Leo Laporte. Each week we cover the week's tech news, in-depth analysis, but it's also fun and engaging. You'll find it at twit.tv along with all of our shows. And if you want more, just hit the subscribe button, and we'll be sure to bring you a lot more great content. Thanks for listening.